If I had a nickel for every time a Dallas based team traded away a franchise star in the year of 2024, I would have two nickels, which is really weird that it would have happened twice. By now, you probably already know that Micah Parsons was traded. And if you didn't know, I'm sorry to tell you, but Micah Parsons was traded. I had originally thought that this was going to be a leverage play, and that's not because Jerry Jones doesn't get leveraged. He just gets used. And originally, when I saw the trade, I thought it was kind of not bad, but that was just because I thought Kenny Clark was better than he is. He's not very good. Packers did not have a true elite edge rusher. Rashawn Gary is exceptional, but he hadn't breaken 10 sacks last season because he didn't have any other superstars with him on that defense. And now they have probably the superstar on their team. Even if Micah is not schemed in the Packers defense, which I probably will get to soon, he will break 10 sacks easily. There was no Packers player last season that broke 10 sacks. Rashawn Gary was the only player, and he had 7.5. Micah Parsons had 14. The Packers defense is going to be scary. The Packers in 2024 were fourth most efficient in EPA per play, which is basically a stat that says the Packers defense usually puts themselves in a position to not get scored on. There's a weird way that they analyze it where if, let's say, it's first and goal on the one, the EPA is going to be really high because there's a good chance you're going to get scored on the one. And the Packers usually just put themselves in positions to not get scored on. And not only that, the Packers were seventh in DVOA, which is a stat that takes every single metric into account when playing defense or offense, specifically on this side, it's defense. Stuff like down, distance, situation, how good the opponent is, how good your team is, takes everything into account. Run stats, pass stats, it takes literally everything into account. And the Packers were seventh already without a Micah Parsons level player, first and foremost. And I'm going to be talking about a lot of passing stats in this video because it's an important stat. But why would it affect Micah Parsons? Because his pressure rate is going to be so elite for the Packers. Micah Parsons averaged 23% pass rush win rate, being tied for third in the league. Tied for third last season. The Packers themselves averaged 37.5. As a whole defense, Micah Parsons himself would raise that stat. I don't even know, because I don't even know how to calculate that stat. But I know it would go up. The defense finished 10th in cover 3 EPA per play and 11th in cover 1 EPA per play uh, by running. And in a cover 3, you're not going to get much open. In a cover 1, you're not going to get much open. So Micah Parsons' pass rush itself is going to skyrocket the Packers. In late downs, the defensive coordinator blitzed more often than he would in early downs on the Packers. Packers were eighth lowest in pass blitz rate at a 27.4. And as we learned from the Eagles Super Bowl, a lower pass rush or pass blitz is not a bad thing at getting to the quarterback as long as you have elite defensive players. And I wonder about how good that guy from Dallas was, that Micah dude. He probably would be good in a low pass blitz because there's not many times they're going to have the correct blocking assignments. I wonder who would be really good on that. On third and long, which is third and 6 plus, the Packers defense blitz 45.2% of the time, second highest in the NFL. So on late downs, they tend to blitz. Again, a guy like Micah Parsons is great in the blitz game. So not only is he good when you're not blitzing because he gets the one-on-one, he's good when you are blitzing. Because a guy like Rashawn Gary on the other side of the defense is going to annihilate whoever is sitting in front of him. Because you're going to throw everybody at Micah. You're not going to throw everybody at Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary is elite. But if you're countering Rashawn Gary and then the next guy up is Lucas Van Ness, you don't have much to worry about. If you have to worry about Micah Parsons and then worry about Rashawn Gary, what are you gonna do? It's like what are you gonna do? The Packers finished 13th in pressure rate, 35.3%, and 10th in sack rate. Micah Parsons himself has a 20% pressure rate over the last 4 years, and not only that, a 23% pass rush win rate, just like I said, third in the league. Why would the Cowboys ever make a trade like this? The Packers have dominated them in every single playoff series they've played, and you trade to the one team that has beaten you. Now, I'm not a Cowboys fan, not in the slightest. I am an Eagles fan, and I'm so happy he's gone out of our division. He's so good. Now, I know there was talks that he would go to the Eagles, but I'm not even going to get into that. Let's just go to the Cowboys side of the trade now that I'm angry. Cowboys were third in sacks last season. They were third, the one bright side of their defense. And now they're losing a 14 sack player for a 1 sack player. But according to Jerry Jones, the one upside of Kenny Clark is the fact that he has a great run defense. Micah Parsons isn't the elite run defender that Jerry Jones thinks he is. Well, I know PFF grades are not the end all be all, which I'll show more stats to this. Micah Parsons is a 90 overall grade in PFF with a 91.6 pass rush PFF grade and a 65.5 run defense PFF. Sure, yes, look at that. Run defense, 65.5. That's really low. Kenny Clark, 59 overall PFF grade, 63 pass rush, 57 run defense. I'm just gonna leave that there for a second. I'm gonna let that sit. Again, not the end all be all. So let's keep going, shall we? Well, the Cowboys were 28th in rush yards allowed last season, and Kenny Clark should help probably a little bit. You have a nice D tackle. He's probably going to help stop the run game. He may be a little bit old, but he will do his job. Dallas was second in sack percent last season, and they were 28th in points allowed and allowed 55 touchdowns last season, which 25 of them came from uh, the run defense. Again, not the best. They allowed a lot of yards on the ground. The Cowboys allowed more receiving touchdowns than rushing touchdowns. They still have a glaring problem. They still had a glaring problem, and they still decide not to fix it. Could they have gotten another corner from the Packers? Probably. Could they have gotten more picks from the Packers? Probably. But they were so excited to ship Micah Parsons out to make themselves look like the higher guy. Micah Parsons wanted way too much money for them. No, no, no. The Cowboys defense is bad at pretty much everything. But Jerry wanted to fix the run defense with Kenny Clark in his interview. That's all he was talking about. The fact that Micah doesn't make them a more elite run defense. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You're not changing anything. You're going from a player who may not be the best at a run defense, but is great at everything else. And you're going to a player who may not be the best at run defense and is bad at everything else. Does that make any sense? With Mike Zimmer, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, he emphasizes a 4-3 base defense with a nickel package, stressing run defense. And they still couldn't get it done. Press man coverage they like to do, and aggressive varied blitz to confuse the quarterback. This package ran through Micah. It ran through him. That was what all the schemes were. That it was just to get Micah whatever coverage he needed. He was such a threat to the opposing teams. Mike Zimmer lost the chess piece in his defense. And even with Micah and focusing the run defense, he still could not lower the damage anymore. Kenny Clark is going to do nothing. He's going to do nothing. He has to fit into a Mike Zimmer defense that is all about run defense and confusing tactics as a D tackle. So as the Cowboys, you're just hoping it's the next man up. That he's at least like half of what Micah Parsons was, maybe even like a third, and you should be happy. Because will Kenny Clark fit immediately into this Cowboys defense? Probably not. Will Micah Parsons slip right into the Packers defense? 100%. And that's the worst part about it. You're stress picking a guy so you could just ship your best player away when there's better trade packages available, just so you can pretend like it looks okay. Dak Prescott is regressing. You have no running backs. Your O-line is regressing. You don't have an elite tight end. You lost a lot of your cornerbacks due to injuries. You lost a lot of your defense. Not Dexter Lawrence. Um, their D lineman Lawrence is gone. Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. You've lost all these players, and you decide to trade your best defensive player and not fix any of them. Not fix a single thing that you're missing. Jerry Jones, you, my friend, are not very smart. I will just say that. I'll try and keep it kid friendly. Man, that got me angry. All right, that's all I need to say.